Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all. An academic talk on the occasion of an International Yoga Day is being organized in the joint collaboration of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Vaishali, and Heritage Society Patna. Our academic collaborators of this program are Lok Kala Vikas Manch and SANANT the Publication World. Our program is being broadcasted on the different social platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, requesting you all, our participants, to connect with us and share your valuable remarks to promote International Yoga Day. We have our distinguished guest with us for today's academic talk. The Vice Chancellor of the Dr. C.V. Raman University, Dr. Vimal Kumar Sharma sir, and Director General of the Heritage Society, Professor Anant Ashutosh Dwivedi sir, and the Chair Professor of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Professor Anant Ashutosh Dwivedi, and we have our keynote speaker of the today's session is an eminent scholar, Dr. Rekha Rao ma'am. The topic of today's academic talk is depiction of Raj Yoga in temple sculpture, which will be delivering by man. On the behalf of organizing committee of this program, me Ajit Kumar, research investigator, Head Society Delhi Circle, welcoming you all in this academic session. Now, I request to Professor Dwivedi sir for the introductory remarks of the today's event. Thank you.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ओम शांति शांति शांति. Good evening to all of you. Myself, Dr. Anantasutosh Dwivedi, Director General of the Heritage Society and Chair Professor of Buddha Cultural Studies, Chair and Chair for Archaeology and Heritage Study of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Vaishali, feels truly fortunate to be part of this august occasion. On the behalf of the organizing committee of today's distinguished sessions, first of all, I wholeheartedly welcoming to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Rekha Rao ji, and Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Dr. Vimal Kumar ji. As our moderator told that Dr. Rekha Rao ji is going to deliver a talk on the depiction of Raj Yoga in temple sculptures on the occasion of International Yoga Day. हम सभी जानते हैं कि भारतीय परंपरा में योग को लेके बहुत पुरानी संस्कृति रही है, पुरातन संस्कृति रही है. वही योग वर्तमान में योगा का स्वरूप धारण करके 21वीं सदी में पुनः भारत में अवतरित हुआ है. वार्म ग्रीटिंग्स फ्रॉम द ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमिटी on the 8th International Day of Yoga. I am very delighted that International Day of Yoga is being celebrated in many cities and countries with tremendous active participation and support of the government authorities, local communities, and Indian community in abroad also. The UN endorsement of the International Day of Yoga was one of the first global initiatives taken by Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji in 2014, reflecting the active Indian ethos of promoting collective universal well-being, peace and harmony. जैसा हम सभी जानते हैं कि भारत में योग को पुनर्जीवित वर्तमान परिवेश में पुनर्जीवित करने के लिए हमारे प्रधानमंत्री माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी द्वारा अथक प्रयास के कारण उनके द्वारा यूनाइटेड नेशन के जनरल असेंबली में यह प्रस्ताव पारित किया गया था कि आज ही के दिन 21 जून को, क्योंकि आज का दिन हम लोग ऐसा मानते हैं कि सबसे एक तरह से बड़ा दिन माना जाता है साल का, हम लोगों के रीजन, जिस रीजन में हम लोग रहते हैं, तो आज के दिन योग पूरे भारत में, पूरे विश्व में मनाया जाए, उनके प्रस्ताव को स्वीकार किया गया था जनरल असेंबली द्वारा. और प्रत्येक वर्ष 2015 से 21 जून को हम लोग योग दिवस के रूप में मनाते हैं. And we are very much happy that today on this occasion we have gathered here and welcoming all our viewers and on watching from different platforms of social sites, as Ajit Jha has told that I am not मैं जब ज़्यादा समय नहीं लेना चाहता हूँ, और आज के हमारे जो स्पीकर महोदया हैं डॉक्टर रेखा राव जी, नाउ नाउ हम लोग उनको सुनने के लिए हम लोग यहाँ एकत्रित हुए हैं. नाउ आई एम हैंडलिंग द माइक टू डॉक्टर अजीत कुमार जी. अजीत जी, थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir, for your warm words and the historical background of the International Yoga Day. It was such a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much for bringing that in front of us. Now, I would like to invite to Dr. Rekha Rao ma'am to deliver her talk on the topic of depiction of Raj Yoga in temple sculptures for the next session. Thank you, ma'am. This is your platform. Thank you very much.
Can I start?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Namaste, everybody. I thank Dr. Vimal Kumar Sharma ji, Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Professor Anant Ashutosh Dwivedi ji, Director General Heritage Society, and Mr. Ajit Shah, Heritage Society, for inviting me to present a talk on the depictions of Raj Yoga in Indian temple sculptures. Today is the auspicious day of celebrating the knowledge and practices of yoga for a better, healthy, and peaceful world. Yoga, the heritage knowledge of our country, Bharat, has been an outstanding contribution to mankind. People all over the world now have recognized and absorbed the goodness of yoga in their lives. This branch of Vedic knowledge is very much a living tradition followed by all people in the land of Bharat. Of the several branches of the heritage knowledge of India, yoga guides humankind explaining how to enjoy a healthy, evolved, and a purposeful way of living. The science and philosophy of yoga were part of everybody's knowledge in ancient times. All through the ages, the various branches of yoga were depicted in the sculptures of temples in a diffused way, but the related information on the themes or the text followed never got mentioned in any temple inscription. In today's talk, I explore the sculptures that depict the essence of yoga, especially the Ashtanga Yoga Sutra in sculptures. Many illustrations support the lecture. I would like to begin with the origin and history of yoga in literature. I present slide 2 for the agenda. Firstly, I discuss the classification of Vedic literature tracing the origin of yoga. We are all familiar with some of the yoga asanas and pranayama techniques. It is interesting to know when and how the yoga practice started, who compiled it, and when was it first documented. Secondly, I discuss the various paths of yoga. Thirdly, I go through the Ashtanga Yoga Sutra, the 8 fundamental steps of Yoga Sutra as depicted in sculptures. Now, going back to the ancient times, the knowledge of pranayama and the fundamental breathing techniques of yoga was in use even in the tribes of pre-Vedic period. The descendants of sage Vatarasana were worshippers of elements of nature, especially Vata, the wind. Rigveda Mandala 10.136, all stanzas, quotes about them as Keshins or Ratyas, who were the long braided munis wearing brown clothes, maybe the skin of animals. Rigveda mentions they were the followers of Munayo Vatarashana, that is, they were followers of sage Vatarashana. This tribe moved swiftly like wind. They were experts in arts like Gandharvas and Apsaras that are who are the beings of atmosphere. They are mentioned to be Vayu Rasma Upamanthat, meaning they were well versed in controlling breath. They were called Ratyas and Rudra was their adored god, and hence Rudra was called Ratyapati. Ratyas lived in harmony with nature. The 15th chapter of Ratya Kanda of Atharva Veda mentions Ratyas were talented singers. They knew the art and effect of controlling breathing. They found that they could sing better by the practice of holding deep breath, that is Pranayama. The Vedic priests learned to sing the modulations involved in singing Samaveda by making use of breath control and by practicing the techniques which Ratyas were good at. There is a school of thought that Ratyas were the precursors of the later ascetics and yogis who practiced yoga. Some of the sitting postures of deities in Indus Hills are called yoga postures. However, the systematized documentation of the knowledge of yoga is in the post-Vedic literature. I present slide 3 for the classification of Vedic scriptures. The Sahitya, or the ancient literature of Sanatana Dharma, is with the religious stamp of Hinduism. In the Vedic period, the 4 Vedas, the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajur, and Atharva Vedas were learned by oral communication using the faculty of hearing, because the script of the language had not yet evolved. It is classified as Shruti phase of knowledge propagation. The post-Vedic phase was called Smriti phase, which means recollection. The Vedic knowledge and its derivatives were remembered and written in Smriti phase of literature. The propagation of Vedic and post-Vedic literature are thus classified as Shruti and Smriti phases. Smriti, the post-Vedic phase of literature, evolved with 6 schools of philosophy based on Vedas and Upanishads. The elaborate interpretations that codified the Vedic thought of living life in a meaningful way were discussed under 6 branches of philosophy. They were under 2 main categories. Firstly, the ones that outline the code of conduct. They were Purana, Itihasa, and Dharmashastra. These 3 relate to the first type, the ones that outline the code of conduct. And secondly, the other 3 are the ones that expound Shastras. They were Vedanga, Shad Darshana, and Upaveda. Of the 6 manuals of philosophy, the 5th one was Shad Darshana. Shad Darshanas are the windows to truth. They are the 6 streams of classical philosophical guidelines. They were the insights of sages based on Vedas and Upanishads. Darshana was further classified into 6 branches or manuals, namely Nyaya, Sankhya, Yoga, Vaisheshika, Purvamimamsa, and Uttarmimamsa. All 6 branches aimed to attain the knowledge of the soul, but were with different approaches. Each manual had its author and literature. Yoga was one branch of Shad Darshana, which sage Patanjali systematized. The Sanskrit term yoga means to join, combine, or unite. The most accepted usage of yoga refers to the harmony of body with mind. This state negates the mind from the wandering state and enhances it to a focused state. Yoga is the science of health of body, mind, and spirit. It calls for active participation by the person who intends for good health and spiritual awareness. Every religion and school of philosophy in India has recognized yoga as the most scientific means of realizing philosophical truths. The founder of yoga was Lord Shiva as Adiyogi. Although not discovering the science of yoga, sage Patanjali of 3rd century BCE is revered as the creator of Yoga Sutras. The most challenging task of gathering all information about body and mind was compiled in his treatise Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I move on to slide 4, describing the main paths of yoga. Yoga Shastra and Upanishads describe the 4 main paths of yoga. The choice of choosing a path depends on the nature of the person. The first path is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga is the yoga of disciplining the mind through meditation. Second path is Gnana Yoga. It is the path of knowledge, the yoga of intelligence. It is the yoga of higher knowledge to realize the ultimate truth. Third path is Bhakti Yoga. It is the spiritual path of devotion where emotions are used to the realization of God. The fourth path is Karma Yoga, is the path of action, salvation through action or service to others. All paths have the same goal of the union of Atma with Paramatma, or individual consciousness with universal consciousness. A study of temples in different regions reveals that not only temples focus on the not it reveals that not all temples focus on the same path of yoga. The varied themes were according to the choice of the sponsorer of the temple. There is no one temple exclusively dealing with the entire depiction of yoga, but every temple has some information related to it. None of the sculptures depicting some aspect of yoga have inscriptions to say about the theme or the text followed. In later periods, many branches like Hatha Yoga, Kundalini Yoga, Tantra Yoga, Nada Yoga, Kriya Yoga, and so on evolved. These topics are not discussed in today's talk. Only Raja Yoga is focused today. Raja Yoga, referred to as the royal path, is a comprehensive method that deals with both physical and mental aspects. Both the body and mind need to be trained to come under control before the practice of concentration. Raja Yoga insists on a systematic path of getting into a calm and pleasant state of mind initially, and then training the body to maintain good health. Finally, it trains the mind to be peaceful. According to Raja Yoga, when the mind is disciplined, the whole system gets disciplined. Maharishi Patanjali systematized his study of disciplining the mind into 8 steps, calling it Ashtanga Yoga Sutras. The steps are structured from learning about the fundamentals like inculcating good values in life, maintaining personality, and achieving bliss, which is usually called Samadhi. Ashtanga of Raja Yoga plays a significant role in taking an aspirant safely to the other shores of awareness. Let's now explore how we can identify the essence of 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga in the sculptures of Indian temples. Ashta is 8 and Anga means limbs. They are the 8 steps to be adopted in life while learning yoga. The eightfold steps of the Ashtanga Yoga are listed in the Yoga Sutra, chapter 2.29. Chapter 2.29. The 8 paths are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Each of the 8 steps has further divisions, but I present one example of each branch. 5 sculptures have been chosen from temples of India to superimpose the essence of Ashtanga Yoga, which is the fundamental of yoga practice. I present slide 5 for the first step of Ashtanga Yoga, that is Yama, the universal values. The first chapter of Ashtanga Yoga is Yama. It's a set of universal values. It means to restrain, control, and regulate the self and confine to the principles. They are like universal vows meant to control negativity. Control of negativity are further explained in the following 5 steps, like Ahimsa, that is practicing harmlessness and non-violence. Satya, adhering to truth. Asteya, meaning honesty, non-stealing. Fourthly, it is Brahmacharya, means sensual abstinence and religious studentship. And 5th point is Aparigraha. It is to refrain from amassing material wealth and non-possessiveness. I present the pictures of Ahimsa and Satya. First 2 pictures in the slide are about Ahimsa, a practice of non-violence or harmlessness. It is depicted as a lady feeding birds and showing compassion to another living creature. The 3rd picture is about the quality of speech of adhering to the truth. These topics are abstract in thought and hence challenging to bring an expression to them in sculptures. In the 3rd figure, we can see The lady holding a shankha in her right hand near the throat region. Shankha signifies purity. The throat region is the place of Vishuddha chakra and communication. Shankha represents the tool or container of purified contents. The Shankha here signifies the purity of speech, that is Satya or truthfulness. The communication that emerges from throat must be purified and truthful. Satya, truthfulness, is the most important qualification to be practiced in Ashtanga Yoga. I present slide 6 now. Slide 6, let's see how Niyama, the self-discipline, is depicted in sculptures. The second limb of Ashtanga Yoga Sutra is Niyama. They are the set of self-discipline and spiritual observances to be followed by individuals. Niyama means restraint of the mind, is explained in 5 steps, that is Shaucha, cleanliness, Santosha, contentment, Swadhyaya, self-study of scriptures, Tapa, restraining the outward energy flow, and finally Ishvara Pranidhana, that is self-surrender and submission to God. Of these branches, I present on only one topic of Shaucha, which is cleanliness. The other branches are discussed in my book. Shaucha is a fundamental step of cleaning the physical body before yoga practice. The 2 levels of cleansing essential for health, happiness, and well-being are, firstly, Bahya Shaucha, the purification of the physical body, and secondly, Abhyantara, the mind. The first sculpture in the picture of, it's a picture of Bahya Shaucha, and the other 2 figures, where a scorpion is depicted, are about Antarika or Abhyantara Shaucha. These sculptures are from Rani Ki Vav, a staple of 11th century CE, and Khajuraho. Both are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. In the first picture, the celestial beauty is seen with twin babies. A child is the universal symbolic representation of cheerfulness and purity of thought or mind. One baby is near her foot. The lady pours water from the purifying jug and she's cleaning the anal part of the baby. Indians clean the anal region with water after defecation. The other child in her arm holds 2 balls in both hands, depicting a happy state of mind and happiness with attendant. Now, the question is, why was cleanliness of body and mind given so much importance in yoga? The answer is, Hindu spirituality believes that a pure mind can only exist in a pure body, and a clean body promotes purity of thought. When neglected, the body gets clogged with waste and loses its ability to absorb nutrients and throw out waste products. When wastes are accumulated, it imbalances the nervous system and brain. Water is used to clean the physical body, while knowledge cleans the mind. We can now see how the cleanliness of mind, the Antarika or the Abhyantara Shaucha, is depicted in sculptures. In the second and third picture, a scorpion is depicted approaching the sex organ of the lady. Her face shows agony. Lust and other negativities are compared to the silent movement of a scorpion on the costume. It may go unnoticed initially. On stinging, the poison that gets into the system is painful. Yoga Sutra, chapter 2.32 says, Abhyantaram Chittamalanam Akshalanam. The impurity, dirt, or filth of mind which stays within the body is indestructible and should only be purified. Uprightness, honesty, and purity of thoughts or cleanliness at mind levels. The dirt of the mind, like lust, anger, greed, envy, arrogance, jealousy, etc., are classified as the 6 enemies and are called Arishad Varga. Especially lust within is compared in sculptures to a scorpion called Vrishchika in Sanskrit. As per ancient literature, the symbolism of scorpion carries an ever-present aura of passion, lust, and attraction. In sculptures, it is always depicted as a scorpion approaching the sex organ. Sexual energy, when it does not succumb to the cravings of lust, anger, ego, or pride, can be used as a totem power for one's advantage in the required field. This theme can be seen in many temples of India. I present slide 7 now. The third step of Ashtanga, that is asanas. Asanas means the posture suited for profound and abstract meditation. Of the several postures, I present two examples of Vrikshasana and Matsyendrasana in this slide. Asana is more about physical culture and not mere physical exercise. The careful observation of leg posture is helpful to identify the asana depicted. While practicing yogasana, the body remains motionless for a stipulated period, blissful and comfortable in a specific posture so that the body does not feel firmness and is without pleasure or pain. It stabilizes the body and mind. Many panels in temples depict asanas or postures of meditation. The first picture is Vrikshasana, balancing the body like a tree on one leg and meditating. It is like Ekpadasana also, standing on one foot and lifting the other to knee level, which signifies the movement of body is arrested. This asana is in many temples to depict yogis and saints. Now, the figure in the second panel, in the second picture in the panel shows a posture similar to Ardha Matsyendrasana. It gives a twist in the body. This posture is practiced in Yogasana Sadhana. The twist of the torso also brings a change in thought process from worldly to an evolved phase. The yogic postures of asana and hatha yoga are profusely depicted in the sculptures of temples. I present slide 8 for Siddhasana. There are two pictures on this slide. The top picture is a panel from Khajuraho. It depicts the Siddhacharya teaching the posture of Siddhasana, where the heel presses the perineum and the other heel is placed just above it. It is demonstrating prana mudra in his hand. He also demonstrates the kumbhaka phase of retention of breath and the belly is bloated tight. He is guiding the disciples for hand mudras like Bhumi Sparsha Mudra and other mudras before the commencement of meditation. The second picture in the bottom row is Akashi Mudra. The head is bent backwards and so also the back, and the look is focused on the sky with deep inhalation. Breath is retained for a comfortable time and the neck is returned to starting position with exhalation. The benefits of this mudra are that it influences the Vishuddha chakra, activates the thyroid gland, balances the nadis, it calms and uplifts the thoughts. The curve of the back bend and the neck gets activated in this mudra, dilating the blood vessels in this part. This helps to reduce heat, anxiety, hyperactivity, and high blood pressure. Now I present slide 9 for another asana called Vrishchikasana. The top row of picture is about Hatha Yoga posture of Vrishchikasana. The bottom row of figures are about the hand mudras of Tattva Yoga called Kriya Yoga. The top figure, usually classified as an erotic figure, shows the asana called Vrishchikasana, the scorpion pose. It looks like Pincha Mayurasana also, meaning the peacock feathers, both of which are Viparita Krani mudras, and the body is supported on hand. This posture of supporting the body on hand strengthens the upper torso, lower back, and arms to enable the body to withstand the Kundalini energy and raise the spirit upwards. The inverted posture quietens the mind. It directly affects the hypothalamus located in the brain part of the head which brings a balance to the endocrine system. It creates the pranic current to get activated at crown chakra. The figures in the bottom row are from Rani Kibao. Many female figures of this temple hold mudras. The Divyangana in the first picture of the bottom row holds Surya Mudra in her left hand. The method of holding this mudra is when the ring finger is folded down to touch the root of the thumb, and the thumb is applied to the middle of the ring finger, and the other fingers are kept in a comfortable straight position, it results in Surya Mudra. Sun symbolizes energy, and Surya Nadi gets purified in this mudra. The benefits of practicing Surya Mudra are it activates the body and mind from lethargy and dullness. It improves heat in body, inducing alacrity and activity. The regular and long practice of Surya Mudra awakens supernormal powers in human psyche. In the above figure, the Divyangana holds Surya Mudra in her left hand. In the second picture, Divyangana holds Mutrashaya Mudra in her right hand. When the ring finger and the little finger are bent to touch the base of the thumb, and the thumb is pressing on the middle part of both finger joints, the middle and forefinger are held straight, it results in Mutrashaya Mudra. The benefits of practicing this mudra are it helps in decreasing water elements in our body and reduces swelling or edema resulting from accumulation of toxins in hands, legs, or face. In the above figure, Divyangana holds Mutrashaya Mudra in her right hand. Such Tattva Yoga or Kriya Yoga mudras are an essential part of yoga system. The gestures regulate stress and bring rhythm and equilibrium with the 5 elements in the body. The nerve endings of each finger are associated with the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and sky. The science of yoga dealing with such mudras as healers of mind and body is called Mudra Vijnana. This helps in restoring good physical health and brings about an altered state of energy flow. Now I present slide 10. Let's now explore the fourth limb of Ashtanga, that is Pranayama, of how breathing techniques are depicted in sculptures. The panel is from Khajuraho temple. According to Yoga Sutras, the systematic breathing techniques are called pranayama. The words prana is life force and ayama is to lengthen or regulate, make up pranayama. Every cell of the body relies on the breath for its survival and rejuvenation. Regular practice of pranayama controls the rhythm of inhalation and exhalations. It stabilizes the flow of life force in our blood vessels and brings the wandering mind under control. The panel is with a picture of a teacher with disciples who demonstrate the 3 phases of breathing techniques. They are the inhalation, retention, and exhalation of breath. The panel has 4 male figures. I focus on each one of the 4 figures for hand gestures. The central figure is the teacher called Acharya. He holds the compilation of palm leaves in the scriptures in his left hand. His belly is bloated tight like a pot, holding or retaining the breath after a deep inhalation. The holding of breath is called Kumbhaka phase of retention. Kumbha means a pot. While prolonged retention of breath, the yogi gains control over the muscles of his body. A similar figure to the teacher's right shows slow and deep exhalation phase called Rechaka, where the tummy is withdrawn and moving near the back. Both figures show the ideal sitting posture called Asanas and the fold technique for practice of pranayama. Of the 2 figures to the teacher's left, one is standing touching his nose. He shows the breathing technique of deep inhalation by holding the nose as required in alternate nostril breathing technique called Anuloma and Viloma. The other figure holds the hands near the chest as Namaskara Mudra, indicating the prayer chants called mantras that can go silently with pranayama. It also guides the span of inhalation and exhalations. Together, the postures indicate the positions of Gomukhasana, Sukhasana, Virasana, and Ardha Uttanasana. It is indicated in the line drawing below the main picture. The sitting postures are maintained during meditation along with pranayama. It is interesting to see sculptures in temples that indicate breathing techniques and simple physical exercises that help maintain good health. Now observe the second figure. This is a female figure. It's from Khajuraho group of temples. It shows Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. It's like an alternate nostril breathing technique. Inhalation is from left nostril and exhalation is on the other side of nostril. The female figure clearly depicts covering of the nostril and pressing the mid-eyebrow region with fingers. This balances and soothes the nervous system. It helps to clear the blocked energy also. I present slide 11. It is the fifth step, Pratyahara, meaning withdrawal from senses from the mundane world. Pratyahara is withdrawal from the external stimulus or control of sensory inputs, turning the attention of all our senses inwards. It is not consciously closing one's eyes to the external world, but consciously closing one's mind. With this withdrawal, the minds get freedom from the clutches of mundane world. The thoughts shift from external to internal, from outer body to inner spirit. The adaptation of simple living brings samyama. The first picture shows a Munikanya, a saintly female figure. She shows monastic type of dress and not focused on self-decoration. Such people enjoy a simple living, observing a withdrawal from worldly connection, which is Pratyahara. The second picture is from Khajuraho, depicts a couple in a embrace, and a monkey is being drawn into a noose, that is the hook. Mind is restless and metaphorically compared to a restless monkey. The mind needs to be hooked by a pasha, a noose that binds the movement of the mind. It relieves the restless mind from worldly attractions and pratyahara is achieved. The abstract knowledge is conveyed in the sculptures beautifully. I present slide 12 for the sixth step of Ashtanga Sutra. It is Dharana, maintaining a focus that is concentration. This picture is the depiction of deities, almost similar figures, in a row with minor variations. It's a picturization of mantras. Many temples have such representation of different deities. Dharana, the sixth step of Ashtanga Yoga, insists on a steady continuance in devotion to God. To maintain the mind in a peaceful state for a longer time, dharana is required. It is remembering a deity with concentration for a more extended period. The mind may wander sometimes, but it is brought under control by the practice of pranayama. The mind becomes fit for dharana, where the mind can concentrate with ekagrata, the single-pointed concentration. The figure depicts deities in a repeated form, which indicates that they are related to a mantra sequence and carved for visualization of a mantra. The multiple number of name repetitions of deities in 21, 108, or even 1000, like Sahasranama names of deities, are sung loudly, which teaches focus, concentration, and willpower. The recitation of bija mantras, taraka mantras, or the memorization of mantras in silent form or sung loudly also help to invoke a deity within. The visualization of such figures in temples helps to understand the essence of mantras. I present slide 13. It's the 7th step, Dhyana or meditation. In Dhyana phase, the mind stays in one place, not disturbed by distractions of any dimension, and remains peaceful. The practitioner remains inward looking, in tune with the inner self, invoked internally. Dhyana is the self-directed awareness called Antardarshana. It is unifying yoga process by which yogi realizes the ultimate reality. Dhyana or meditation is the state of mind where erotic thoughts do not exist. The panel depicts deities. They are deities Uma Maheshwara. The two panels are from Khajuraho and Orissa temples. Both panels are almost similar, though they are from different places. According to iconographic characters of accessories held, the female figure is goddess Uma. She is the personification of the primary female, the dynamic principle. Lord Maheshwara, Shiva, is holding a trident, he is the consciousness, a static male principle. Uma signifies the matter which can be seen. It is indicated by the mirror she holds. Though she holds a mirror in her left hand as an accessory, a tool to see oneself, she is not looking into it, but the gaze that is focused on Shiva, Shiva consciousness. The mind works where the gaze settles. It needs to be trained from a wandering state to a settled state before concentrating on any subject. Uma shows a self-directed awareness called Abhimukhi phase. Sensual thoughts do not exist in Dhyana. The female deity embracing Shiva is symbolic of embracing knowledge. The male deity is depicted as holding the breast to indicate that he is the essence of mantra. This evolution in personality can occur only when the mind enjoys an uncluttered state from all negative thoughts. I proceed to slide 14 for Samadhi. It's the 8th and the last step of Ashtanga Sutra, Samadhi. Samadhi is the total absorption. It is the absorption of the soul in profound and abstract contemplation. The state of mind is tranquility. It is a blissful divine experience of merging with the Lord in total silence. The practitioner becomes perfect in his focus and enjoys the Turiya Avastha of total bliss. In a state of Samadhi, yogi neither experiences smell, taste, touch, sound, color, nor heat or cold. He is released from the strain of physical posture and personal appearance. Samadhi state of mind leads to the knowledge of realities and indifference to worldly enjoyments, which are very difficult to obtain. The outcome of the state of Samadhi is achieved when ego is dissolved and the creative mind emerges. The mind is free from distractions and attachments. It rests steadily like the flame of a lamp. I present slide 15 now. More sculptures related to the branches of yoga are in my book. I have given an approach that many sculptures that are called erotic are actually depictions of Hatha Yoga mudras and other branches of yoga. Book is published as ebook and print version from Amazon. Now coming to conclusion, many explanations and commentaries that were created in the post-Vedic Smriti phase were the source to understand the oceanic nature of knowledge of Vedas. Indian temples are conglomerate monuments that incorporate many science branches along with religion. The temple sculptures are more than successful in propagating the vast knowledge of science and philosophy that has given a unique identity to Indian temple architecture. The heritage knowledge of yoga has been an outstanding contribution to mankind. People all over the world now have recognized and absorbed the goodness of yoga in their lives. The Vedic knowledge of yoga is very much a living tradition followed by people not only in the land of Bharat but also in many other countries. May the knowledge of yoga bring good health and peace all over the world. Thank you. Can't hear?
Not
We are
getting a
unable,
voice. Not
Mr.
getting a
Yama,
voice.
we are unable to listen you. Please unmute your mic first.
Yeah. Sorry for that. Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful talk. It was really a very insightful for me and the viewers who joined us globally on this International Yoga Day. It is really a remarkable work which you had done. Thank you for coming to the Military Society. Now I request to Honorable Vice-Chancellor of the Dr. C.V. Raman University, Dr. Vimal Kumar Sharma, sir, for the concluding remarks. Sir, please. Sir, you are on mute.
Please unmute sir. Unmute कर लिया जाए sir. जी.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. Uh, just now we had a very informative discourse from Professor Rao, and we are really delighted to listen all the things. In fact, what I have noticed in that, you have given really a new dimensions to the sculptures of Indian temples in terms of yoga. That is a very good combination. That's a changing the vision of the people who are going there, because they look at it only from the erotic side, but they don't know this part of that. And this is very good, and I'm so thankful to you to listen this thing. Second thing, second thing I would like to add to it, yoga. There is a one very well known yoga kshemam vahamyam. All must have heard it and read it. So yoga is such a thing that whatever you are having with you, it will protect it, and whatever you are not having, this will give you in terms of health, in terms of mind, in terms of your concentration, in terms of meditation. That's why Lord Krishna says, yoga kshemam vahamyam. जो नहीं है वो दूंगा, जो है उसकी मैं रक्षा करूंगा और मैं ही उसको वहन करूंगा. तो योग से आपको वो सारी चीजें प्राप्त होती हैं. And the third thing is why I am so happy to listen it, because I myself is a practitioner of yoga since a very long time, and I would like to show some of my pictures what I do daily. People do yoga on the earth. I do yoga on the earth as well as on the single bar and double bar. See, I don't know how to show it to you. Can you look at it? This. These are some pictures which I do daily.
Oh,
And apart from that, whatever asanas have been shown in your slides, I used to do them daily, and pranayama also. In fact, as I told you in the beginning, that I am a practitioner of the Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga, first guru was Lord Shiva, and second was on which name you have named one asan, Matsyendra Asan. Matsyendra Nath was the first disciple of Lord Shiva, and then Babaji Maharaj, then Lahiri Masha, then like that it is going. Kriya Yoga is a complete package of all these things, whatever you have shown here. Not only asanas, but also pranayama also. Pranayama in the different asanas. That is Rechak, Purak, Kumbhak, all these things. To take, to breathe in, to hold it, and then to exhale it. So really very good, and I think that people should listen you more and more and follow you more and more. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing your insight on the yoga. And we really have love to have you here to show your pictures which you are doing as a practitioner of the yoga. Such a wonderful thing you shared with us. And ma'am, I really thankful to you. I'll start yoga from today with this session.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And now we are in the last of the session today. So I just concluding the remarks of the with the word of the thanks. So, on the behalf of the organizing committee of today's academic session, I thank to everyone. I thank to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Rekha Rao ma'am, for her insightful talk and research. I thank to Professor Anta Ashutosh Dwivedi sir for the organizing this session. I thank to Hon'ble Vice-Chancellor of Dr. C.V. Raman University, Dr. Vimal Kumar Sharma Shah, for sharing his thoughts from the busy schedule. I thank to all the members of the Dr. C.V. Raman University, Vaishali, Heritage Society Patna, Lokala Vikas Manch, and Samantha Publication World for organizing the session and technical support. Last but not least, I thank to our viewers who joined us across the globe through our social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Stay connected with us for more updates. Subscribe our Facebook channels, YouTube channels for more updates of the Heritage Society. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for joining.